I'm going to start letting people in.
You could do a mid-all, right?
Yep, they're coming.
Oh, look at all those people coming in. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome and good evening. We'll wait a minute or two for everyone to come on.
How's everybody doing today?
Good.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Marty. Marty with the thumbs up. Yeah, Marty.
We see some of our scholarship winners here. We're just so excited to have you. Thanks so much, Laurel. It's been a few years. Kevin, we knew this year. Just awesome. And I see Steve in Seattle. Steve, thank you for joining us tonight.
We see you. We see you, Marcellus Wiley. There you are. Love it. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Nicole's in the house. Hi, Nicole.
Woo!
We'll get started in just a few minutes. A few more people are trickling in here.
Okay, great.
So, Jeannie, you know we've got people from all over the country joining us.
All over. We even have Hawaii. Hawaii's in the house.
Seattle,
Yeah.
Chicago, Portland.
Chicago, Portland. Yeah, Rob. Washington, D.C. Marcellus, we got the whole country here for you here tonight.
New Zealand as well.
All right.
Marcellus, my husband wants me to say that LeBron is not the GOAT.
Oh, we're going to start early, aren't we?
Oh, man.
Who is the GOAT? Let me ask you,
Sideways.
your husband. Who's the GOAT?
Berman? Jordan is the GOAT.
He has to take off the shoes, the sweatsuit, and be unbiased. And now let's talk about who's the GOAT.
Hey, we hope you all can stay till 8 p.m. as we discuss who the GOAT is and who is not.
It's
These important.
true. It's true.
Tonight.
Right. Well,
Okay, Anna, you're an
let's do
instigator.
a big welcome to Mr. Marcellus Wiley. Let's everyone give a big double high five right into the screen. There you go, Mr. Marcellus Wiley. Double high fives right there to you, sir.
Oh, appreciate it so much. Thank you. I love the energy. Thanks for coming.
Thank
Some
you.
familiar faces out there too as well. Hey, Nicole, I see you. I love it.
Hey, Marcellus.
How's it going?
Excellent. Well, I think we waited a few minutes. Kayla, do you want to go ahead and get everyone going with our Zoom protocol?
Perfect. So I'm going to share my screen here. Thumbs up if you can see this. We're good? Perfect. All right, so if you guys, welcome again. Thank you, Jeannie. Thank you, Marcellus. Thank you, LADF for being here. Before we get started, if everyone can grab their cell phone to do a quick text to sign in. I've copied and pasted the information into the chat box, but I'll just go over it here as well. If you could text to 650-763-2405, and then there are going to be 3 lines in the body of the text. The first line will be #139208. Second line, first name and last name, and then the third line, your email address. We would really appreciate it. I'll remind you a few more times throughout this workshop, so if you forget right now, don't worry. If you don't have time or can't figure it out, I can help you with that at any point as well. So again, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so excited for everyone who's here, who joined us from around the country. We have such a great workshop plan for you tonight. So I just want to go over a few Zoom features with you before we get started. We want everyone to participate. This is going to be very interactive. We're going to have a question and answer with Marcellus. So we want everyone to feel free to participate and ask questions. If you want to take notes, if you have a pen and paper available, that's great. If not, feel free to take notes on your computer. We do ask that you stay muted if you're not speaking. If I hear any background noise or any interference, I might mute you, so don't get offended there. And we're going to go through how to raise your hand on Zoom. So Jeannie and I am going to be the producer. We'll be able to see you physically if you raise your hand, but there's actually a feature on Zoom to raise your hand that might be a little easier because we are expecting quite a few people on this call. We're going to be using the chat feature a lot. So if you are having any technical issues, please private chat me. Again, my name is Kayla. I will fix those as fast as I can. If you want to chat to the entire group, you'll be able to do that as well. So before we get started, we want to know who is going to be on this workshop tonight. We want to make it a little more personal. So if everyone can hover over their own picture, you're going to see two blue squares, one that says mute and one with 3 dots. If you click on that one with 3 dots, there will be a drop-down menu with an option to rename yourself. So we want everyone to rename their picture, their video, their first and last name, the city you're tuning in from, your organization, and then if you're an athlete, coach, or parent. If you are tuning in and you are PCA staff, we ask that you just change your name to first and last name and the chapter that you are representing. So I'll give everyone a few seconds to do that.
Can you hear us?
We can hear you. Great.
Oh,
So
hi, gang.
like I said, we're going to go over how to raise your hand. If you're tuning in on your computer or laptop, you can find the Zoom bar at the bottom that says participants. And then once you click on that, if you hover over your name, you'll be able to see a blue hand. That's going to notify me and all the facilitators that your hand is raised, and we'll get to you. If you're tuning in on a mobile device, it might look a little different. It might look like a chat bubble that says participants or a more option, depending on the phone that you are watching on. So like I said, we are going to be communicating via chat. I'm going to be monitoring the chat box. So we want to get to all of your guys' input and amazing questions for Marcellus tonight. So I will try to get to everyone as fast as I can. If you have a question to ask, you can chat the entire group. If you click the blue bar that says everyone will be able to see your question or comment. If you want to privately chat me, just drop down that little blue bar to my name, Kayla, and you'll be able to do that. So without further ado, I'm going to stop share here and introduce our amazing facilitators. Jeannie Garcia, our Director of Impact, our lead trainer, has been with PCA for over 21 years, is going to be facilitating this amazing workshop. And Kristen Oshiro, who is on as well. She's so excited. We couldn't ask for 2 better trainers to do this workshop. So Jeannie, back to you.
Excellent. Thanks, everybody. All right, let's raise the roof. We've got some people in the house from all over the country raising the roof on this. Really excited to be here. And, you know, we're going to do a very brief triple impact competitor workshop, otherwise known as TIC, T-I-C. The main part of our evening, though, is going to be a Q&A with Mr. Marcellus Wiley. We're so excited about that. Before we get started, though, we have to thank the Los Angeles Dodgers Foundation and the amazing CEO, Nichol Whiteman is with us tonight. And so I'm very privileged to be able to introduce to you Nichol Whiteman. Nichol, take it away.
Thanks, Jeannie. Gosh, I wish I could have Jeannie's energy all day, every day. I have never seen this woman without this volume or being at this level. You're amazing, Jeannie. Thank you. Hi, everyone. As Jeannie mentioned, I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Los Angeles Dodgers Foundation. We've been proud supporters of PCA since 2015. A long time and a deep relationship has been developed in the last couple of years. I have the pleasure of serving as a board member on the PCA Los Angeles chapter as well, and have done so since we provided seed funding back in 2015. Really excited to be here again with Marcellus Wiley. We actually got a chance to do something together for PCA last year, and that was really special. I believe we were at Jesse Owens Park. So now here we are virtually, but I'm loving the energy. I feel like I'm in person with all of you. So welcome to everybody that's here tonight. Together with PCA, we've actually been able to support about 12,000 student athletes in Los Angeles, and we've actually provided programming to over 20,000 Dodgers RBI youth who are in our youth development program, and that's across trainings that we've done together for many years. In this pandemic alone, we've actually done 6 virtual trainings together. Sounds crazy. It's been like 2.5 months. Obviously, we've all been at work, very busy. We're not sitting because obviously we all know that in this moment in time, it's now more than ever important for us to be providing positive upliftment and positive programming for our youth. I can't stand here or speak here before you today without stating the obvious. We're in some really troubled times in our country. And as a Black woman who's a mother of 2 Black sons, it's been a really trying last couple of days. But I know now more than ever that PCA is a team sport, reign more than ever, because I think our country is trying to get on the same page as team players, because if you all can recognize, we haven't been. And sport actually does have the power to unite us in a way that nothing else. Starts with student athletes, like many of you on this phone, and it starts with instituting this positive message into youth at a very young age. So I think that now more than ever, I'm really excited that PCA continued on with the virtual program today. I think that we need this. We need you, and I think our kids are going to need even more of this moving forward. So hope everyone has been safe and well, staying well. Again, we are extremely proud partners. Alan, Marty, Kayla, the entire PCA team, we just love you guys, and we appreciate your partnership and your commitment to what you're doing. And again, Jeannie, like, just keep bringing the energy. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Nicole, for giving that wonderful welcome. I'd like to now also introduce the most innovative leader that we have. He's the one, and he's the reason that I'm very proud to be his teammate, and that's our executive director of PCA Los Angeles, Mr. Alan Burks. Alan.
Hi, everyone. I just want to briefly
Clap first, big clap, big clapping. Woo!
I just want to very briefly thank Nicole and the Dodgers Foundation and Chitali, your beautiful daughter there, for all of the support and the collaboration and creativity that you've brought with us. And I want to especially thank, we have some board members and leadership council members, not only just in Los Angeles, but in other parts of the country. My fellow executive directors who are on, really appreciate your support, your collaboration. We have multiple staff on the national team here. We have some trainers, our interns, the student athletes, our scholarship athletes. We're so grateful for you to be on, and we're excited to hear from you today. And we have some very important partners here tonight that are working, like the Dodgers Foundation, that are working directly with kids in thousands and thousands of kids in underserved communities every day. And they're doing the hard work on the ground. So whatever inspiration we take from you, Marcellus, tonight, we're going to bring that to as many kids as we possibly can. And that is our mission. That's why we're all here tonight. So back to you, Jeannie. Let's get it rolling. Thank you all.
Thanks, Alan. Thank you. We're doing such good work here. But I'm ready to go ahead and start our workshop. And look at these wonderful pictures of Marcellus. And I have to say, if you have not read his book yet, it's an amazing book. And Marcellus, you know, I have to begin by saying, you know what, you've got the longest fingers. It must be the reason that you were the national typewriting champion at 82 words a minute. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh, that's so funny. That was a long time ago and a lot straighter fingers ago, if you want to go there. This is what the NFL will do to you. It will give you the curveball in terms of my fingers. But first, let me just say thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of everyone. And my heart is always with the kids, with the communities. all across this country in terms of just trying to navigate through all the adversity that is presented to us, especially right now. And it's funny you bring up my typewriting prowess. Of all the things that's on my Wikipedia, that one must be highlighted because it really stands out to people. But back in those days, I remember taking that course in the 8th grade. It was just an elective. And I don't want to say it too loud, but I wanted an easy A. And I really took the typing like next level. So here I am being this football player, doing extra credit, just making sure I know my home keys. And this is before computers were fully emerging. And this is even before word processors. So I had the old school Murder, She Wrote typewriter, hitting the keys, making the loud noise, hitting the return on the side. So I'm pretty proud of my 82 words a minute and only one error. That's the key.
Well, it's clear that whatever you do it with fervor, and you have this standard of excellence no matter what it is. And so I love that you're a national typewriting champion. It just goes to show that you really go after it no matter what it is. So thank you for that, for giving us a little more insight about that. Well, I'd like to introduce you all, okay, to what a triple impact competitor is. And it's really about making yourself better, making your teammates better, and making the game better. And guess what? We have a number of our PCA Los Angeles triple impact competitor winners on our call tonight. I got to give a shout out to Kevin, Kendall, Stephanie, Patrick, Miley, Terrion, Jimena, Iram, Itzel, and Laurel. I hope I didn't miss any of you. And if you are on, which I think you are, as I double checked the participant list, we're wondering, where are you going to college? What are you doing? What's happening? Because a lot of things are up in the air. We'd like to see a little inspiration about what you're doing right now. And as you're doing that, we're going to go ahead and go into what is your leadership role. And so now the rest of us, if you don't mind, could you talk about whether you agree with this statement that leadership has little to do with talent, and why or why not? And if we could get a few responses in our chat box right now, it'd be interesting to see what we come up with and whether or not we think that leadership has little to do with talent. Okay, chat box is open. Is that right, Kaylee? Oh my gosh, we've got someone from New Zealand. Wow, that's awesome. And Steve has already written that no, that leadership is about effort and attitude and the controllables, controlling the controllables. Nicole, thank you so much. It is a mindset. It is a mindset. Excellent, great response. All right. And we've got Rob saying ditto, okay? Patrick, one of our TIC award winners, says leadership requires hard work to sharpen, and great leaders inspire through character. This is why, Patrick, you are a TIC award winner. So thank you for that. All right, and I really like that Judge Mike Town from Hawaii, giving a shaka. Mike Town, traction, not results. Love that. And Stephanie from Philadelphia. I agree with Nicole. At the same time, I believe one needs to perfect their craft in order for people to follow them. Okay, all right, we'll take one more response here. We've got Nathan from Beaumont High School, that it's about effort, but oh my gosh, my chats are coming in so quickly. It's about effort, but great leaders lead through example, so there has to be some talent as well. Okay, I love that. Oh, here we go. Anna, everyone is a leader. So good, Anna. Everyone's a leader, whether or not they want to be or realize that they are someone's role model. Our only choice is what kind of leader will we be? Oh, wow, that's pretty insightful. So we're going to go on from that, and we're going to talk about the importance of leadership culture. And leadership, the definition is the action of leading a group of people, and culture is about the way we do things here. And there's no one better to talk about this leadership concept, okay, than Marcellus. And we've got just a couple more things to go over, and then Marcellus, it's going to be some questions. And our last question for you to think about is to try to phrase things in a positive way when you create your leadership. So instead of thinking about what you don't like about your teammates, think about what you like about your teammates, and then let them know what it is that you actually like. This leads actually to really effective performance. And so that's just a little snippet of our workshop. And so what we'd like to do now, though, is go right into what we're all here for tonight. I'd like to just, if you don't mind, Marcellus, just talk about the fact that you were an NFL defensive end for 10 years on 4 different teams. You were an AFC Pro Bowl 2001 selection with the San Diego Chargers. You were a first-team All-American and All-Ivy League. You went to Columbia University, where you got your BA in sociology. And one little tidbit, people may not know this, but at St. Monica's, you were the valedictorian of your class. I mean, so talk about being a leader. You are one. And we are so proud that you're here with us tonight. And so, oh, sorry, let me go back here. We're going to stop our share. And now, Marcellus, do you have any opening words before I begin some Q&A with you?
I guess I'll keep it brief in terms of intro and opening statements, but I think it all starts with the marathons that we all have to face in every facet of our life. If you really look at your life and start to compartmentalize all the things that you're facing. I remember being maybe 11 years old. My father saw me probably struggling, just really in my own head, my own thoughts, and being young at that age and going through a daunting experience. I remember my dad and I talking about what a marathon is, and he was like, how old are you? And I'm like, 11. He's like, okay, yeah, 11. And how long is a marathon? And I took a good guess. I actually said 26.2, and he was like, yeah, all right, because the 0.2 everyone forgets. And I remember him looking at me, and he's like, okay, so if you have something to do, look at it like it's a marathon. All right. And he said, now take the first step. And after you take the first step, how long is that marathon now? It's not 26. And that really sunk in with me, just to look at every single experience. And sometimes they can look so daunting, they can look so intimidating, overwhelming. But to put it in that perspective, that it immediately feels your impact. It immediately is affected as soon as you get to work. I use that all the time. Use that as kind of my mindset in terms of any task in front of me. I don't really look at it like I need to win. I look at it like I need to start working to shorten this distance between where I am right now and the completion of this task. With full effort, I think I can attain and complete the task. So that's kind of my mindset when I approach anything in my world. Get laser focused and make sure I shorten that distance.
Well, you sure do. You're talking to for 20 years. And we actually have a lot of people from Students Run LA, and they do marathon training. And so you're speaking to the heart, you're speaking to all of us. Yes. And so, yeah, thanks for that great opening about how your marathon mindset has really focused you on everything you do. Well, you know, given everything that we're dealing with right now, including, you know, a global pandemic, you know, we're learning from home, we're losing seasons, and now we've got this racial unrest. What can you say to our student athletes and our coaches and our parents to really encourage them to stay the course and stay focused on being a future leader. So how would you answer that question for us, Marcellus?
Yeah, I think the first thing is you have to understand there is an aggregate going on right now, and this aggregation of all the things, as you just listed them, and we're all feeling that effect, all feeling all of the pressures and the issues that are surrounding us. We are energy beings. We're always in constant exchange for environments. And as we know about energy, it can't be created or destroyed, just exchanged. So you're responsible of how you take care of your mindset, take care of your body, take care of your surroundings. That said, I always suggest to people not to add it up. But I think a lot of times when it comes to issues in your life, what becomes is when you hit the addition button, when you sum them up. And then you start to realize, wow, I have a lot to do. Let's talk about that marathon mindset. You have one race to run. You can't keep thinking about all the other ones until you complete one. So I would really stress to everyone to properly define what is on their plate and to section it off and make sure you can understand what you're dealing with, but more importantly, put all of an investment into that task. And even if you don't complete it, you have to have the laser focus to at least be in tune with that task at that time. I think a lot of times what happens is also when you get distracted because you're trying to do it all at once. And that's when I draw on some of my football experience. You just got to make it one play at a time. They don't happen all 4 quarters is not going to happen in 1 second. It's going to play itself out. And it's really a psychology. It's all a mindset that you have to make sure that you manipulate the circumstances so that you put yourself in the best situation. You got to give yourself advantages. Sometimes you got to lie to yourself. I don't care. Fake it till you make it, as they say. You got to make sure you're in that position where you feel engaged. You feel that energy that you always possess, Jeannie, and you feel that towards whatever's in front of you. And once you do that, it's time to activate. So for a lot of people out there, I understand when you can sit there and start to wander in the world of what ifs and in the world of all of the things that are coming your way. And it feels like asteroids. They're just all around you and all these issues and circumstances. But you take them on one at a time. And if you can really lock in your mind to that self-discipline and harness that energy, that's going to give you the best advantage in terms of handling your issues.
So good. I'm writing all this down, Marcellus. I hope all of you have a pen and paper because what you're saying, these are just, nuggets of wisdom. And, you know, I want to go back to one of our triple impact competitor winners, Kevin. And he talked about, you know, leadership is about helping the team. And there's really no talent required in being able to help. And I wanted to ask actually Paul Rapani if he's on. He's the director of Students Run LA. And this is what this organization does. They break things down into parts where kids are able to tackle one thing at a time, right? One thing at a time, just one step at a time. And so, Paul, I don't know, are you on tonight?
No, I don't think he's on, Jeannie.
Paul's not. Is there a Students Run LA staff member or participant that's on that would like to talk about how your program really pulls what Marcellus is just talking about together by breaking it down into pieces? No? Okay. Well, we were supposed to have a lot of Students Run LA folks, but that's okay. We'll move on. We'll move on.
I can speak on behalf of that.
Is that Octavio? Octavio?
Yes, Octavio.
Octavio, thank you.
Hi, definitely. So it's like he mentioned, it's a process, it's a journey. It's not going to happen overnight. it's a 6 to 8 month process we train with the kids. At first we start with 1 or 2 miles, then we start with 3 miles, and we start advancing day by day. Start giving them obstacles like, you know what, before you get to 10 miles, think about the 3 miles first. So it's a day by day process. We kind of train them and give them motivation. So that if you could run a marathon, you could achieve many goals outside just running marathons. There's many obstacles you could overcome, but things you have to put in your mindset, you have to be dedicated to run it, to achieve your dreams. So it gives the kids wisdom and something to, and that's one thing that I appreciate about Surrey LA, the sponsorships, it gives us a chance to our kids.
It's so true, Octavio, and you've been with Students Run LA for a long time, so thank you for coming in there. So Marcellus, oh, hold on, Octavio. What can we give you right now? Do you need a heart? Do you need a hug? Do you need a high five? What can we send to you right now?
You know what? I think everyone needs a hug.
Okay, everyone sending hugs to Octavio. There we go.
We love.
There's the hug. There it is. Sent right to you, Octavio. Thank you so much. Okay. All right, Marcellus, back to you. Can you talk about the approach to some really hard challenge that you took? And you decided not just to be a part of something, but, to really make something. Can you talk about an experience that you've had and share with us?
Yeah, I love the fact that Octavio was talking about process and having that game plan and really approaching it play at a time as well. I go back to something that I learned in the NFL, maybe a little too late, going against the New England Patriots in the height of their dynasty. You find yourself on the losing side of a lot of battles. But it was interesting to play against that team because I think league-wide, and this is no slight to them because they're dynastic. They won 6 Super Bowls over the last 20 years. They weren't the most talented team, but they figured out a formula. It truly was a formula of perseverance. And their mantra, their mindset really lend itself to maximizing what their abilities and capabilities were. So what they would understand about any game is that more games are lost than won. And I'll say that again, more games are lost than won. It's not so much did you do your best every single play, give 100%, and yes, A+ every time adds up to a winning performance. It's actually making sure you minimize the mistakes, minimize the failures, and course, because you got to remember growing up, well, let me date myself. I'm 45, so I'm still a floor model TV, only 3 channels, and Saturday morning cartoons. I'm that guy still. And I remember watching Looney Tunes, and the tortoise and hare used to always come on. And it took me forever to understand what the hell was really happening, because I was like, how is the turtle going to ever beat the rabbit? And it literally would beat them every time. And it really started to crystallize a message that I learned as I'm talking about my fellow experience as well, about just staying the course with that linear focus. And even if it feels slow, and even if you read that your competitor is doing better and graded higher and has more accolades, just stay your course, run your race. And I'm a living example of that. There were a lot of guys who had starts in terms of their success, in terms of their early success, and a lot of people had greater forecasts for them than me. And I was so blessed to be in a village of love for my parents, my sister, my grandmother, my friend, my coaches, that they made sure I didn't wander into that wilderness of what ifs. They would bring me back real quick, because that's what happens, I think, right now. The kids are on social media. They know what a kid in Nebraska is doing right now. They know what he's eating. They know how he's training. They know what he's ranked. And that could really throw you off your race. Think about it. Everything I see in sports comes back to like football and track. And really track for me, because that's my favorite sport. It's the first sport in humanity and civilization, because I'm sure somewhere, some cave, they were like, hey, let's something to eat, let's race. And there it is, there's track and field. You look at track, as soon as you look to the side, as soon as you look behind you, if you win, you're running a little slower. And you got to start to think that way. Like, I'm in lane 1. I need to own my lane. I need to own this space. And I need to make sure I stay in this mental space and physical space of what I'm trying to pursue. So when you're talking about the creation of something, we all sit there with the proper seeds. We all go to bed and have dreams, and we all sit there staring at the ceiling and imagining something greater than yourself. And then you wake up and it's time to water those seeds. It's time for you to put the work in. And for those who consistently, because I really saw this firsthand and vividly, consistently persevere through these experiences and not get caught up in the highs and the roller coaster of it all, those usually turn out to be the winners.
Marcellus, there was so much in that answer. It's very clear the love of your family is brought up quite a bit in your book. You talked about mistakes. You know, PCA talks about how you can flush your mistakes. So you just flush mistakes and just flush it down the toilet, right? Do you have a mistake ritual that you do so that you can stay on track? Let's say you make a mistake. What do you do? Do you have a physical just use so that you can just move forward? What does that look like?
It's crazy you say that. One, I build mistakes into any task that I have. I literally mentally go as high as maybe 99% on certain things. Some I'm pretty good at, and some things I know I am the worst at. Like, I don't even take that task on with full confidence. I grab the village of like, I need you from hello. Like, we got to do this together because I am not so confident and skilled in this one. But I never, ever build something without building in the line item of mistakes will happen. And I'm already prepared, but I don't harp on it. And so when I get the cobwebs, when I get caught up, when I'm all of a sudden stuck in quicksand in the mud, I do this. And it's funny, I used to do it a lot more back in the days. So maybe I'm not as much now, or I'm making fewer mistakes. Let's hope the latter. I do this, bear with me. Like, I can feel it. I'm like, uh-oh, this is bogging me down. I'm not moving. I'm not going towards my goal. And I literally do that. So I literally shake them out of my mental space. They gotta go. Get from between my ears, right? You are trying to get in the way of what I want to achieve. So I did it a lot before games because I would get that anxiety, you know, you get that pressure, those nerves. And then in a game, you're sitting there thinking about the play that happened 5 minutes ago, and it's the play to make right now. And I'll just hit that real quick. Oh, I think that's my flushing.
I love it. We're all going to do the Marcellus shake. Is everyone ready? All right, let's go, everyone. Marcellus shake. Woo! That is fantastic. That is fantastic. All right. So listen, we've got a question from one of our Triple Impact competitor winners, Stephanie. Do you mind coming on and asking your question to Mr. Marcellus Wiley?
Hello? Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Stephanie.
I dig it. It's just shake your head and stuff. All right. Is the tongue involved? Like, you go, like, is that it? Okay.
Be careful, especially with a mouthpiece. Be really careful. But yeah, you got to do it.
Okay. All right. Hi, I'm Seth. I'm from San Diego, but I just graduated from LaSalle University in Philly. And
hold on. Oh yeah, raise the roof on the graduation. Oh yeah.
I love it.
All right, thanks. That's the most energy I've gotten out of a virtual Zoom session for graduation. Thanks, Jeannie. So my question was just about like you keep mentioning staying the course, you know, staying in one direction and having like running your race and the marathon attitude that you're talking about, laser focus, section off, you know. And I'm just curious to the you know, from your experience, how it's been, you know, when you zeroed in as an athlete. Did you ever feel guilt for being so focused on the task at hand? Like, for example, just like the amid in this pandemic and recent racial unrest. Is it like wrong to wake up every morning and wanna just focus on your own perspective or your own growth while there's so much going on in the nation, in the world, going, you know? Because I have like the mentality of waking up and I myself am practicing a third language, and I wake up every morning, you know, work out twice a day, you know, I'm trying to maintain my health, you know, but there's so much going on. Like, is it okay to do that? Do you ever feel guilty, like while you know, with your experience, your career experience?
Oh, amazing question. We're in the graduate school already of the question asking, because we just skipped all the little baby ones. This is truly a great question in terms of it happens so many different ways. Hey, what's up, man? I see you over there. My bad. Let's talk about it. I think it's a layered approach. Let me start with like the topic sentence of my response, which is the difference between being selfish and selfless, and more importantly, the similarities. What do they have in common, being selfish or selfless? Self. And this world will spin and continue to spin no matter what is happening. I give you my darkest moment, and it was my mother passed away in 2005. And I remember not wanting to go to sleep because that would bring the realization that she was gone when I was going to wake up. I didn't want to go to sleep. I just wanted to stay up and just be like, yo, this is not real, and do that forever. Of course you can't. So I finally passed out. And I remember waking up the next morning, and before I even opened my eyes, it felt like I had a conversation, like, please tell me yesterday was not for real. And then I opened my eyes, and not only was it for real, more importantly, and it really hit me hard, it was clear blue skies and a hot, hot day. And I remember looking outside like, the universe shows no signs of my pain. The world is not showing me any symbols of, yeah, we feel you. And that really hit me, and it made me take a step back and realize there's a different way I can approach any circumstance, no matter how painful it may be, no matter how deafening it may be, no matter how much is surrounding me. I should go and grow. So when you start thinking selfish, selfless, oh, it's about self, it takes me to some of the conversations a lot of veterans used to have with us. Everyone's heard, you just say no, whether it was Nancy Reagan back in the 80s and the DARE program, and just say no to drugs, whatever. And then you become a professional athlete and have a lot of hanger-ons and people who's trying to manipulate you, get money, scheme, whatever. And you have to start to learn to just say no. And at first it sounds like that's the perfect, just say no and walk away. But you hit on what's more important than just saying no. I added the part that really brought it home to a lot of people. Learn to say no without guilt, because this is what happens. If someone asks you to do something, someone is trying to pressure you, someone's like, why are you working out? And why are you trying to take care of yourself? And you're not protesting, marching, like doing what everyone else should be doing. you want to do something else, saying no enough, because what happens is they start to wear on you. You can feel the eye roll, you know, you can feel the side eye. And then after the 4th, 5th attempt, next thing you know, you caved, you're doing it. I had to add that layer of saying no without guilt. And once I did that, I would only say no when I knew I could put it on the shelf. It was gone for good. I could shelve that moment. So it's really an exercise you have to train yourself to do, is that when you remove yourself from that situation, that's it. It's as simple as in football, you can't hit what you can't catch. So you got to make sure not your body is in a different space, your mind is in a different space. So when things come to attack it, it's not there. So amazing question, because whatever you want to do doesn't need the consensus. It doesn't need everyone's approval. We will think it does. We will actually tell ourselves we need this to go around the jury. And then their approval is going to stamp our decision.
Yeah.
It really doesn't work that way. Always remember what's in common between selfishness and selflessness. Hear yourself.
That's an amazing graduate school question, Stephanie. What do you need from us? We're going to send you whatever you need, a heart, raise the roof. We can fist bumps, high fives, whatever you need. You're a graduate now, a high school graduate.
Oh, get a fist bump.
Fist bump right to you. Fist bump right to Stephanie. Congratulations, Stephanie. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Marcellus.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Awesome.
Great question.
So Marcellus, we're gonna go to our next question, which is, what qualities did you draw on that led you to a path of success for life? And I have to reference your book first. And there's a great story in here about how your grandma said, you know what, you go get a piece of paper and bring it back here and write down who you are. It's a great story. Do you mind sharing that story a little bit, and then how that probably helped you go to a path of success?
Yeah, this was a tremendous experience in terms of learning my identity. And I was young, I was getting bullied at school. And I remember my grandmother telling me to go get a piece of paper. And she's like, she saw me down in spirits, she knew the situation. She's like, get a piece of paper and write your name at the top. So I grabbed a piece of paper. Back in those days, it's probably a number 2 pencil. Anybody still remember number 2 pencils? Probably those big blue ones. You remember those big blue ones? Oh my God, it's like a piece of Home Depot wood. It was a pencil, it was like huge. So I write down Marcellus Vernon Wiley. And then she's like, okay, write down 3 things that you are. So I'm like, #random, grandma. Like, what do you mean? What 3 things that I am? So the first thing I'm thinking, smart. She says, why are you smart? I said, because I get all A's and B's in my classes and I like to learn. I'm the guy in the front of the class raising his hand every time, interrupting. So she's like, all right, you're smart. So write that down. So now I have smart. And she's like, what else? I'm sitting there and I'm like, athletic. And she's like, why are you athletic? I was like, because I could beat everybody running that school. That's actually not true. I couldn't beat Omar, but I on purpose avoided Omar every morning. So I had the perception out that I could beat everybody in the bathroom. So I wrote down athletic because I'm faster than everyone at school. She's like, okay, smart, athletic, and one more. And I said, I'm nice. And she's like, why are you nice? I was like, I like everybody, Grandma. Even the people that maybe don't like me, even these guys that are messing with us, like, I like everyone. She said, okay, write that down. Nice. She said, okay, now look at the piece of paper. It says, Marcellus Vernon Wiley is smart, athletic, and nice. She said, baby, I want you to fold that piece of paper and when anyone calls you by your name, Marcellus Vernon Wiley, and they're talking to you like you are a smart, athletic, you can give them your attention. If anybody calls you anything else, what they've been calling you, and they've been calling me a lot of things back in those days, she's like, don't pay them any mind. And I'm not lying. It felt like an Amtrak railroad station was built in where my body was to where I wanted to go in life. It literally gave me a railroad to understanding who's with me and who's against me. And like my keen sense of awareness was like heightened. I would hear people say stuff to me, oh, Marcellus over there being a nerd. And I was like, wait a minute, that's not positive. They're not trying to help me. Smart, yeah, nerd, like you're trying to undermine me. No. So then when you wanted to go hang out, I'm like, no. It really just gave me the context I needed to what was good in my life and what was bad in my life.
I love that. And I'm hoping that all the student athletes that are on tonight are listening very closely. And hopefully you can write down the 3 words that describe who you are so that that'll set you on your path to success. That is awesome, Marcellus. Listen, we've got Mr. Steve Shiro here who would like to ask you a question. Steve, are you on?
So, yes, I am. Thanks. Thanks, Marcellus, for taking time.
Thanks, Steve.
Your answer was coming up, but my question was, what are the few things, 1 or 2, then 3, that in your sports journey from youth to high school at Columbia onto the highest levels of the NFL that transferred, that you learned and developed through that journey that transferred to life after sport?
Oh, yeah, love it. I think the first one probably is, I'm juggling between, probably would say your work habits. It's interesting when you play football at the highest level, when it finally sinks in, it's an aspiration. Lofty goal, absolutely, but you're thinking that. And the thing is, everyone's going to work. So then you have to start to think of work habits and ways that you can do the thing that you want to do, which is put in the practice time, put in all the work, but you have to do something that sets you apart. So what are your work habits? And for me, I would do everything that everyone else did. And then we would break that down into a smaller group of guys who wanted to do the extra and do all the extra with those guys. And then I would get sneaky and I would do something just for me, just to know that mentally I did a little more than them. And maybe they did the same thing too and didn't tell me, but I had it. So my work habits, how does that translate into this real world? As I my daily show on Fox, FS1, Speak for Yourself, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. I do all of the work necessary and make sure I do a little extra in terms of preparation. That gives you a confidence. It pays itself forward in terms of confidence. So my work habits, because of how you become a football player. I remember my first day lifting weights. I was in the 9th grade at Westchester High School. We had this old dusty weight rack system. And I remember it went up to like 240 pounds or something. And I had no idea how much I could lift. So I started off pretty low and I got up to 90 pounds bench pressing, 90, like 90. I don't know who can bench press 90 now. I'm not gonna laugh at you, but me, 90, I struggled. I was like, oh. And I remember that was day 1, 90 pounds. But do you know what happens when you do something that intense, that stresses your body? Your body immediately gets broken down. Then you go home, you eat right, you go get your proper rest, and it immediately builds itself up bigger and better. And if you just can stay in that positive cycle and reinforcement of work, you will break yourself down to come back stronger every single time. So work habits 1. I would say the other one is paying tolerance. When I got into the real world, it was like the boogeyman in terms of all of us heard how difficult the real world was and how it's just this abyss of opportunity, but where do you go and what's next? And it's so taxing and daunting out there. And I was like, whoa. And then I started to draw on my fall experiences of the days where we had a game Sunday, 1 o'clock kickoff. And I remember not being able to get out of bed properly or not being able to walk without a limp into the stadium. But for 3 hours, I was about to run my butt off. And I was going to block I was going to garner that energy I needed, that adrenaline I needed. I needed to go to that psychotic place in space. And once you do that, you don't even know what you went through. You just went through 60 or 70 car collisions on the 405 freeway in front of 80,000 people. And you don't even feel it really. You're like so pumped in the zone. And then after the game, the adrenaline starts to wane and the crowd disappears and all the love and all the adoration goes away and it's quiet time. And then you start to feel the pain. And it starts to build up your pain tolerance because you got to go do it again. And when I get into the real world, I started to realize no matter what happened to me, no matter how many made or how many plays I missed, that I had to remember how this all worked in terms of building up that pain tolerance. So I'm not easily discouraged. I'm not a fighter. If someone walked up to me and bumped me and said, "What's up, man?" I'd be like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing?" Like, I'm not fighting anybody for anything. You don't get that power. But I'm also no punk because anything you put in front of me, if I say I'm going to get it, oh, we're about to go to war. Me and this task are going to go to war. So that pain tolerance, and I'm not just talking mentally, to be able to deal with all of the issues that come through the process of building anything in this world. So I would go back from my playing experience and grab how I worked, and through the process of work, how I was able to deal with it.
Fantastic. Steve, you've been terrific chatting in the chat box, asking a wonderful question. What can we send to you, sir, right? We're ready to give you whatever you need.
I'd like a double high five.
Double high five. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, Steve, thank you so much. You know, Marcellus, we've got one more question. I can't believe it, but we're almost out of time. But we've got another question, and it segues because talking about how, you know, being a football player, you know, you get beat up, right? Well, Dr. Jimmy Lin from Hawaii, who would like to ask you a question. He is an amazing physical therapist, and he hails from Hawaii. So Shaka, everyone give Dr. Jimmy a bit. All right, Dr. Jimmy, go ahead and take yourself off mute and ask Mr. Marcellus.
Oh, thanks for that intro, Jeannie. Marcellus, yeah, thank you so much for your time and your wisdom. It's been wonderful. And as a successful athlete, or I think successful in anything, I think one of the things we're facing now is this overwhelming amount of information, right? And when you're being tossed what seems like good information from 5 billion different directions, how do you filter that, navigate through that so that you're focused and know that what you're choosing will take you to where you want to go?
Yeah, love it. Love the question, Jimmy. First, you have to have the ability to separate the signal from the noise. And in everything that comes your way, there's a signal and there's some noise that comes with it. Just think through your own life, go through your own mental Rolodex of opportunities. There's a part of it that you have to protect and you have to respect for it to continue to grow. But it comes with a set of issues that you have to be able to know the difference and decipher between What am I protecting and respecting? And what should I start neglecting? And that's the noise. So how do you get to that place? And it's interesting when it comes to information right now, especially everywhere you go, every opinion is right there at your disposal, at your fingertips. And how do you navigate through those battlefields at times in terms of too much information or the wrong information? And then you start to understand when it comes to who you are and what you think of. It's funny, I read this report where they say your intuition is 6 million times faster than your cognitive thought. Now, what the sports psychologist was showing us, this is when I was with the Dallas Cowboys, and he was telling us stories of where when you feel something, oh, it's going to hit a lot faster than when you think about it. That's why you want to have mindless behavior when it comes to getting into your flow, getting into the zone, your mojo. Basically, your body has now integrated with your experience and your environment. And it's telling your intuition without delay this. So must be part of that conversation. Keep trying, keep trying, fail, try, fail, finally succeed, get locked into a zone. Then you don't have to even think about it. It just happens. Not perfect, but when it happens, oh, how efficient it is. So you start to realize, wait a minute, when I'm not up here and I am in here, things can happen faster. Things can happen better. But this world is a different world than the world I grew up in terms of everything's right here. And it's like, I grew up, there was door number 1, door number 2, and it felt like door number 3. Now it's door number infinity. It's like everywhere you go, you can just open up another door and get another slice of someone else's reality. I would trust your inner compass, but that inner only gets better in terms of addressing which way to go by you going through that of practicing. You're gonna read the wrong thing, and then you're gonna realize, that's not for me. That's not for what I want to achieve. And then in my world, so I'm talking every day in sports, I start off like this in terms of preparation, in terms of websites, in terms of trusted reporters. And then you start to get like this and like this and like this. And you start to really lock in to a smaller space where you can activate yourself to the fullest. So I would leave it with, when you start to think about, wow, what's coming my way and how do I really trust in that? You got to understand how that cycle works and own your cycle, because everyone's different. We all have different biorhythms. We all have different receptors. And I was in, my last point to this that adds to it is, I was in Barbados, and it was a team trip. It's a funny story to it too as well. Long story short, I'm in this taxi, and this taxi driver is like, he's asking me, he's like, hey, he's like, you're a big guy. You play sports? I was like, yeah. Like, way to stereotype me and way to be right. And he's like, okay, cool. American? I was like, yeah. He's like, American basketball? I was like, nah, you haven't seen them for real if you think I play basketball. He's like, football? I was like, yeah, okay. And he's like, good. And I thought I was in for that long, dreadful cab ride of hearing all his football wish lists and stories and, jock sniffing. Oh, no, not this cab driver. He wanted to veer into a conversation. He immediately asked me, have you read your manual? Now I'm like, what? He's like, have you read your manual? He's like, you know what's interesting about people? They don't read their manual. It's just like when you go to the store and you get an item, you get an electronic. As soon as you get your phone, you know what you do? You take it out the box and you turn it on and you start playing with it. And you start trying to call people and you text and all this stuff. And I'm like, all right, I know you're going somewhere. He's like, and then you know what's so funny? One day you walk up to your friend and your friend is doing something on the phone you didn't know about. And you're like, how'd you do that? How'd you learn that? What did you do? It's like, oh, just scroll up, go right. And you get this key. And you're like, how'd you learn that? Oh, I read it. I saw it in the manual. And he's like, so many times in this world, you fall down just because you didn't know what you were and who you were. Read your manual. I'm like, now I don't want to get back to the cruise ship. I'm kind of like, let's keep riding through the city and keep talking to me. So I would say to you, Jimmy, man, no matter what's going on in this world and what people are trying to throw at you, and they're all going to try to tell you, grab the phone and just start playing with it and you'll figure it out. Take some quiet time. Read your manual.
That is so good. That is so good, Marcellus. Jimmy, well, Jimmy, what can we send you for that excellent question? What can we send you from the mainland to you in Hawaii?
Wow. A couple of these.
Ah.
Oh, there we go. Woo! Oh, yeah.
I love it.
There they are, right to you, Jimmy. Thank you so much. Marcellus, you know, I'm going to share one slide with everybody. There you are again. Love everything that you've accomplished. But here's a quote from Herm Edwards that says, when the book of your life is written, will it say that you made a difference? And, you know, so for our wrap up sort of response and bringing it back to our student athletes, you know, how can we all work together, you know, to support, you know, our students so that they can become the leaders that they were meant to be? What's our wrap up statement about that?
Yeah, I would really challenge everyone to just define what success means to them. Because I think a lot of times in this world, that is force-fed to us what success is, which a lot of times it could be external riches or it could be certain accolades on your wall. But that's not the pure definition of success. It's making your dream a reality. Whatever that is, like, let's go make that a reality, that dream. And I think in that pursuit of whatever that reality can be based on that dream is what you need to focus in on. I've been having a lot of conversations of late just because so much is coming at us right now and so much is going on in our world. And we can't forget that we're primal beings. And in terms of making a difference in this world and this huge impact, it really starts with the little things. You want to make a big difference? Do the little things. That's a John Wooden kind of mindset and quote where he's like, in the big games, I need you to do the little things. That's what he used to always tell his players. Don't go out there because it's the championship, try and double your points per game. That's how you mess up the big moments. Just do the little things. So for anyone out there, I'm not going to lie to you guys. My goals, my difference is truly pretty simple. I want to be the greatest person I can be. And I want to have a greater family and exchange that in terms of what values and attributes I've learned and I possess and share that. Imagine instead of all of us trying to just obscurely change the world, we change our world. Like every one of us takes that responsibility and accountability to just change your world. And in this world today with social media and people have followers, it's so funny how social media truly has rigged our psychology as well. Followers, not leaders. Likes, not love, respect, character. Those are not buttons on there. And I stopped caring what people liked in like grade school. Like, care what you like. It's like, I'm into deeper, greater things. So I'm trying to exchange with those I come in contact with, my circle of influence, my circle of concern. I'm trying to exchange those values and make a difference there. And hopefully through osmosis, that continues to spread. So I start with those simple things and hopefully they'll manifest.
Well, you actually epitomize the tagline that Positive Coaching Alliance talks about, which is making better athletes and better people. And it's clear that you work on becoming a better person every day by doing all the little things all the time. And, you know, I'll never forget when you signed my book, you know, you said, just keep sharing the genie juice, you know, and keep sharing that genie juice everywhere. And we are so honored that you have been able to give us so much wisdom in a very short amount of time. What can we give you now, Marcellus Wiley, so that you feel our love and you feel that we appreciate you to infinity? What can we send to you right now?
Oh man, we could charge up. Man, it's funny. I saw us doing this, and I used to do this. It used to be my sack dance. I used to charge up. So give me some of that energy, baby. Gotta put it like this, though.
There it is.
Give me that energy, baby. Thank you. I so appreciate it so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We've just got a couple of things to go over. Here's a resource. You know, Nichol had referred to this, that we've got this Life as a Team Sport going on as a resource for you. Go to our website. And then just want to thank you, but I'm going to hand it over right now to Kayla, who's going to wrap up our workshop tonight, and can't thank you all enough. Kayla.
Thank you so much, Jeannie. Thank you again, everyone who attended, participated. Let's give a huge round of applause to Marcellus. We couldn't have had this without him. Thank you to the Dodgers Foundation. I put a few last-minute reminders in the chat box. If you didn't get a chance to text to sign in, we really appreciate you doing that before you sign off. We have some resources that you guys can find at our website at positivecoach.org in the development zone. And then if you wouldn't mind staying on for just a few minutes to take this survey, we'd really, really, really appreciate it. Again, thank you, everyone. Thank you for making this possible, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Please get Marcellus's book, Never Shut Up. It's an amazing read. You're going to love it. You're going to love this book.
All of our student athletes who are on today are going to get free books in the mail. So
woo!
If you're a student athlete on today, don't buy it. We're sending one. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Take care, everybody. Be safe. Stay
Thanks
positive.
everyone from around the
Stay
country.
positive.
What do you need, Jeannie? What can we send you?
Jeannie, what do you want us to send you?
Jeannie? Chaka.
Tacos! Woo!
Thank you to our wonderful PCA teammates out there. Thank you so much for joining from around the country.
Thank you, Alan Burks.
Yes. Go
Bye,
Eagles.
Stephanie. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for your
Thank you, Jenny Wilburn.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Tiki.
Yeah, how do I do this?
Kendall, thank you. Great to see you.
Mr. Burks, what part of Philly you from?
Levittown, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Like, what?
So you got pretty close. You're at LaSalle right now?
Yeah.
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 Yep.
Hey, Stephanie, that's Anna, by the way, right there. Yeah, I saw you two were chatting. Anna, that's Stephanie.
Hi. Hey. Hi, Anna. Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie. Nice to meet you. Congratulations. You're an awardee, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Steph was one of our first, right? You were the first to go on Dodgers Stadium. I think you were the first group.
That's what I heard.
So Stephanie, you don't have to buy the book. It's being
don't buy
sent
the
to
book.
you.
I got one for you.
Stephanie, you said you went to LaSalle in Philly?
Yeah.
I went to Penn in Philly.
Oh, there you go.
A few years before you, though, like about 40 years before you, probably.
Great minds think alike.
Jeannie, fantastic event. Ellen, good job. Kayla, Emerald, good job, guys. Thank you for including us.
We just so much appreciate you for being here. And Jenny runs the student athlete program and our Coach Double Go program. So I hope you saw a little bit of fruits to your labor tonight.
It was awesome. Love to see their smiling faces.
Yeah, I love the energy, guys. Keep it up.
Thank you, Stephanie.
You all have a good night.
Bye. Good night.
Good night. Oh, we still have Iram. He's one of our tick winners.
He might not.
And then Billy from Seattle.
I think it's just Billy. Billy is probably taking care of his 25 kids.
I'm gonna wrap up. I'm gonna put them in the weight room and just
Okay.
find them here. I'm gonna stop recording.